Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to this week's edition of the Travel Coffee Break. I'm Alistair Mackenzie, and I'll get rid of the opening bumper screen there. And I've got a couple of guests with me. This week we're planning to talk about Milan and Expo, which is the big event in Milan this year, this summer. And so we've got Austin Sawhill from wonderful Milan, no, Wonderful Expo 2015, isn't it? Is the official
Correct.
title, which is actually it's the consumer-facing side of Expo in the sense that your aspect is not just Expo, but I'll get rid of that lock there, so it's not just me. It's not just Expo by itself, but it's the city of Milan and the environs as well. I think that's about the size of it. I'll come back to you in a second though, but let me just introduce also Roger Bray. Roger, you may have seen before in editions of the Travel Coffee Break. He's previously he was editor of the Evening Standard in London, travel editor of the Evening Standard in London. Elevated you just quickly there. And is a member of the British Guild of Travel Writers, and actually is a new committee member of, well, I say new, a committee member of the British Guild of Travel Writers. Hardly new. You've already been chairman once, which I know very well because I was your vice chair for a while. So welcome to you. You were in Milan with me a couple of weeks ago, so it's good to get your input on the city and their plans. Austin, let's get down to it. So did I get that about right? Your role is specifically to promote the city as well as Expo.
More or less. Wonderful Expo 2015 is essentially organized to promote tourism around the Expo. So we represent the territories, Milan, as well as Lombardy, Piedmont, and expanding. So we really hope to bring tourists in and show them all the territories around the Expo. So we are the official tourism board for the Expo.
Okay. It's going to be an amazing event. Expo comes around, it's once every 5 years, is that right?
4 years, I believe.
And Expo somewhere.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
In this case, coming to Milan, and it's going to be running from where and when?
From May 1st to October 31st. So it's a good month-long event.
And as with all expos, there is an expo site, and we're talking about something really quite colossal, aren't we?
It's very large, yes. There are enough to fit pavilions from over 145 countries, as well as other structures and facilities to fit everyone that's coming. We're expecting over 20 million visitors to Milan, so big capacities, big spaces.
The theme for this year, for this expo, because each one has a different theme, is food. It's food sustainability and technology and the development of how in effect we balance our food globally. That's the kind of the main focus, isn't it?
Exactly. The technical theme is feeding the planet, energy for life, which kind of handles everything from the past cultural traditions and connotations of food all the way to future, what it's going to be like, what we can look forward to, and also presently celebrate the innovations that we have currently in use.
Fits well in Milan. I mean, a city known for its food.
Definitely
anyway.
does.
A city of foodies.
A city of foodies.
And in that respect, I'm going to forget his name now, Piero Galli, who is the head of the Expo team, putting it all together, was billing it as the world's largest restaurant.
Could be said.
It's the point is that they're going to be. All of these countries, 145 of them, are going to be promoting the best of their food products and technologies, and in many cases enabling people to sample that. So in that sense, I think I remember from my notes when he was talking that he said that I think every night the site is going to be replenished with 270 articulated trucks load of food. Quite a staggering statistic. Roger, have you been to Milan before? We were there the other day.
Yes, I was there a few years ago. Yeah.
And from your point of view, do you think this is a good mix between having Expo, which will dominate part of Milan, and the city as well?
It's hard to tell. I wonder how the hotel capacity will cope. It's a big business city. It's a big football city and a big culture city. Obviously, there are a lot of great events alongside the Expo. A number of very fine art exhibitions and so on. But one wonders whether how easy it will be for people to get rooms, and indeed what the hotel rates will look like come summer.
Austin?
That's kind of what we do. So if you go to our site, wonderfulexpo2015.info, we have there where you can search, book, find all the different kind of hotels you're looking for. We do, in addition, bed and breakfasts, kind of any type of lodging you can imagine, and we have it. So we have villas, everything. If you're not looking for the traditional, boring kind of stay in a hotel, you can look for a mountain chalet out in the mountains. So we're hoping to have everyone. Huh?
Sorry, Roger, you were going to ask something?
Yeah, Austin, it seems to me that for a lot of tourists, certainly from this country, and I imagine many others, the best ski would be to go and stay somewhere in Lombardy outside Milan and go in for a day or a couple of days. I gather that will be fairly easy with park and ride. Rather than staying in Milan itself, which is a great city, but I would imagine that people will be more interested in maybe taking their cars to the Po Valley, going to those great cities that I visited after this most recent trip, Cremona or Mantua, for example, and then nipping into, I don't know what the traffic will be like, but at least coming in and parking and riding and going to Expo. How easy is that going to be for people?
It should be very easy. I mean, all the hotels, obviously, during the event are going to have shuttles, buses, you name it, transportations to get there, because they know people are coming in, tourists want to go see the Expo. And like you were saying before, that's something we're hoping. We're getting people spread out in Lombardy and Piedmont so that we can have people experiencing something a bit more than just Milan. And that way they can also come for a day or two, see the Expo, see Milan, and kind of get the whole experience, rather than just having Milan, go to the site, leave.
It would be a shame.
That's really what I... Sorry.
I was going to say, it would be a shame if any tourist going to Expo didn't manage to get up on the roof of that great Gothic cathedral of yours. It's surely one of the great sights in Europe.
Yeah.
It is absolutely one of the great sites. I was just, as you were talking, looking through, trying to find, because I actually wrote it in a blog post, how many rooms are available in the city. It's a lot, so they should be able to cope. Let me just get back to the. Sorry, I'm looking at another window. I'm going to put up a couple of pages. Oh shoot! Hold on. Oh, hold on. I've just made a grisly error, I think. No, I haven't. Good. Okay. Right. Okay. Thought for a minute I'd stop the broadcast. Okay. Let's just get to the page that I was after, which is this one and this one. Okay. Right. Are you seeing what I'm putting up on the screen at the moment?
Yep.
He said it should be. Oh, hold on. It's not the one I was after. Let me just find it again. There we go. Right there. That's the one I'm after. Right. Here we are. This is a map of where we're talking about. Here's Milan, right in the middle. And if I just pull out a bit, he said. here we go. For people who are unaware of it, Milan is up here in the north of Italy, and here are the Alps, really not too far away. So, Roger, when you're talking about staying in the area, and likewise Austin, you're meaning staying sort of on the edges, on the outskirts, places like Bergamo, for example, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, there are tons of places nearby and within an hour where you can see different destinations, mountains, lakes, wellness, relax, get some action, sports. So it's kind of something mixed for everyone, and it's not too far away. So we're hoping that people don't come just to Milan, although fantastic, we hope you do see it, but that there's a little bit more deeper searching and that we get to show off this region's territories.
Okay. I'm mixing between which windows. Here we are. The actual site itself, I think, is down here somewhere, isn't it, Austin? So in other words, here's the center of Milan. Here, I think in this area here is where the actual site is, and that's. In fact, here we are. Oh, look, it says Expo 2015. Well done, Alistair. As I understand it, there's a high-speed train or something from the city centre that goes out to Expo.
You can get from Milan to the Expo site very easily.
Okay. And if I now switch across to this page here, which means I've got to go out again and in again. Here we go. There we go. Then you should get an idea of just how big. Now, you're seeing that. He said, "Oh lordy, where are we?" Sorry, it's every time you do, you have to open up a new window for it, because I'm looking at the window I'm opening up and not the actual. I'll share that one. There we go. That should give you an idea of the scale of this this event. This is the theme park, and it's twice the size of Disneyland Paris. It is absolutely huge. So if I zoom in, then you guys watching will get an idea of just how big this thing is. You can begin to see now people standing out. So there is, across the site, it's divided up into various segments, but there are areas where there are, I'm trying to find one now, where there are, for example, arenas for performances, stage performances and things like that. In fact, there's multiple performance areas around the place. And then there are children's areas and all sorts of other things. And across the site, you've got these huge kind of walkways, these roads, which you can probably see picked out that with the canopies above them, which will keep the heat off everybody. They tested these out in the summer, Piero Galli was saying, last year, which last year was our hottest year on record, so it's a good year to test them. And apparently the shades, if you're underneath the shades, then the temperature is decreased by some 5 degrees centigrade, which is very good news. But he also told us that in terms of detail of preparing for Expo, that they have to think of every possible eventuality. And of course, Expo's finishing at the end of October, so they have to also consider the remote possibility of there being snow. And so they've also tested them for snow. Apparently, they're built to withstand up to 10 centimeters of wet snow. And he says that if it's more than that, then they have a phone number, and they ring the Italian army, who send some people along who climb up some special ropes they've got set on the stands and clear it off. So they have thought of absolutely. But that should give you an idea of the scale of it. And of course, what we've got are all these countries, 145 different countries, and they're all exhibiting. Either they have, some of them, the major ones have their own pavilions, and others, let me see if I can, are you seeing that? Just pull one out, or was it not going to work very well? Where's the screen gone? No, it's not going to work very well. Okay, you can see and these large thumbnails anyway. You get an idea. If I go to where's the images breakdown? Milan Expo Pavilions. Here we are. Pavilions. If I show you, for example, I was trying to find the UK. Well, here we are, UK one. I don't know if you can see that, but the UK pavilion is meant to resemble like a beehive, and it'll be quite an extraordinary kind of event. This is the United Arab Emirates, which reminds me very much of, this looks like the Sikh all the way into Petra, but that's Jordan, and that's not the Arab Emirates. So I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to represent. But there are some amazing Switzerland, Spain, Mexico. Mexico is going to be a huge thing. The Chinese one, I think, is lovely. If you see this one here, it's going to be an absolutely staggering pavilion. And the Chinese are very much across the whole thing. So they're going to be there, very much in scale. So yeah, I think it really will be impressive. So we come back to that question. I mean, people don't automatically think of Expo as like a holiday experience, but what they're going to get is not just the enormous park and all of that kind of stuff and the performances in the park, but they're also going to get activities across Milan during the course of those 6 months, and some of them will be really quite special one. There's some very special exhibitions, and the 300 pianos is the other thing you should tell us about, Austin.
That one I'm not sure about. You might know more than me on this one. You can tell me.
Okay, 300 pianos is, as the name suggests, I think it's over 3 days. 300 pianos are placed around Milan, and 300 performances are given, and some of them are like jazz, and some of the there's an excellent video which I would show you, but you can't really show them in Hangouts. But there is a very good video.
Piano City.
Piano City. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Is that the name? Okay, sorry.
There's another event, yeah. And so they do. It is fantastic. They set up different venues, different things in private courtyards and public areas, and you can just enjoy free music. It's one of my favorite things here.
And some special exhibitions. A Leonardo exhibition?
Yep, that will be for a while now. Shouldn't close until...
so it's on already?
I believe so.
Okay,
or if I'm mixing up with another artist. Yeah.
Okay.
So there will be plenty of events.
So from a consumer point of view, lots to look forward to. It's Expo is a very worthy event in the sense that it actually really does serve a purpose. I mean, one of the things that's kind of materially going to come out at the end of Expo will be the Charter, which is this kind of agreement between all the participating countries on a kind of a protocol for improving global food and all that kind of and its development and how it's managed. So there are going to be some kind of practical suggestions out of it, but that's not going to drag tourists there. So in a way, people assume that Expo is not for them, but what we're trying to get across, and I think Austin, this is really your primary drive, is that this really can be a holiday.
I think it really is. I mean, before I can see how somebody might have thought that with an Expo, because usually they're seen more as a convention, a kind of, if you're specialized in that given area, maybe it will interest you, maybe you want to go. We were fortunate that this year the theme is Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life, and who's not interested in food? So everyone kind of has a natural foot in the door. Beyond that, I think we're getting to a point where everyone interacting within the world, it's really important that we share innovations and that we move ahead being conscious of these kinds of things, especially with something like food that's seems like an everyday kind of thing, but in the end has very important consequences, and I guess, drastic effects based on what we do. And so that kind of interests everyone on a basic level, not to mention the instant satisfaction that you get from eating at all the different pavilions.
Don't you worry a little bit? Sorry, can I come in? Don't you worry a little bit that that theme of feeding the planet, making sure that people don't starve, basically, is slightly at odds with the conspicuous consumption that there will be in Milan during those 6 months?
Sorry?
I'm being vexatious. I'll try again.
No, I didn't.
Did you get the message? Don't you think that all that conspicuous consumption that will take place in Milan over the 6 months might be slightly at odds with its own theme, which is of feeding the planet and all stuff?
Yeah, he's.
I can't.
That point was kind of was picked up, I think, by Piero Galli, that it is because the whole point about the global food distribution is you've got this extraordinary, actually, as in so many things, as banking and everything else has been showing us recently, that you've got these extraordinary polarities. So on the one hand, I forget where the stats are now, we've got millions of people waddling about obese, and a couple of thirds of the planet starving, and it's trying to rectify that imbalance. Roger's point was
sorry, Roger, I actually
on the streets of Milan.
No, definitely, it's 100% true. I didn't hear it before. I think that's another reason that it's more important that everyone be involved, because it is coming to a level that it's no longer just the distributors that can handle these kinds of things. We all want to be responsible consumers and eaters, I guess, in the end. So that's something really important, that it becomes much more personal in that way. And yes, it is true, it could be a bit creating polar opposites in that sense, but we hope to go ahead with the innovations that we're creating and to see that more of a future out of it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the idea of whatever it is, 270 trucks coming in, groaning under the weight of food every night. When you've got people in Bihar, India,
to talk about starvation,
paying the rice a day is maybe a contradiction.
No, definitely in that sense, but
that is actually the point of it, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's not necessarily been something we want to avoid entirely. That is kind of the point to be touched on, in the sense that, like I said before, we want everyone to be conscious, involved consumers. This involves more than just the people that are... I found the stats now. Mm-hmm.
The issues the Expo seeks to address are that there are about 870 million undernourished people in the world, and on the other hand, around 2.8 million deaths from diseases related to excessive eating, obesity, or weight problems every year. So, yeah, it is it's quite a contrast. Let's switch our perspective a little bit now. By the way, I haven't said to those watching, or haven't reminded them, that if you want to, you can ask your own questions. You've just got to hit the Q&A button, which is up in the top right-hand side of your screen, if that looks right, or that may be the left side. And if you press that, you can write in a question, and I can see it, and I can put it to Austin. But I was going to ask about, move away from consumer, and ask about, for those in the media, because there's a lot of travel bloggers and travel journalists who some are finding out about Expo for the first time, and others are wondering what the setup will be, because particularly for food bloggers and the like, they want to know, how they can get involved, or more importantly, what are the press arrangements? Do you know what the details are on that?
For us personally, involved with the tourism, we have our own kind of interactions with food bloggers and food writers. If you guys are interested in writing for us, obviously we'd be more than glad to talk about that and see if we can get some of your work featured and collaborations going. For the whole event, I can't speak for Expo as its entirety, but only for us. We do have on our Facebook page and Wonderful Expo 2015 on the Facebook page there. We have a tab for Wonderful Bloggers. You can contact us directly from there, or any private messages, any comments, anything through our social media. as well as emails directly to me. I'm sure my contact information will be left with you here.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, so if you guys are
I'll do
interested
that.
in partnering with us, 100% very interested. Everything from nitty-gritty food details to how to enjoy best your time when you're here in Milan, Lombardy, and Piedmont. So something we're very interested in and hoping people apply.
I was asking on Facebook in one of the two large travel blogger community pages about how many people were thinking about how many food or travel bloggers were planning to go to Expo, and there was quite a response. Quite a few of them have said they've sort of been in touch, but nothing's really come of it, so they're not quite sure where those queries have gone. So I don't know if you have a contact point for us within the Expo organization as opposed to Wonderful Expo 2015. That would certainly be handy.
For the Expo, I'd have to grab the information from our press office here and could relay that information. But for us personally, I am the English community manager, so I would be the person to write for that. Obviously, Spanish, German, Russian, Chinese, everything else has a different contact. But yeah, I'd be more than glad to provide the information for that.
Excellent. Well, if you send that to me, then I'll circulate that one on.
Sorry, I'm prepared.
Interesting. A lot of, noticeable amongst all the people who commented, just sort of scrolling down. It looks like quite a few of them are actually based in Italy, so it wouldn't be all that hard at all for them to be visiting. I noticed Cash, who many of us know, has written in and said, pointed out that you guys have got a thing going at the moment on Instagram. Where's his thing? Here we are. Essentially, the project consists of photographing people, things, and places that amaze you or remind you of the WOW form, and share them on Instagram with us. And he says that they've had some stunning pictures. He says, I've had a look at the hashtag, and they've had over 4,000 pictures posted. So you did actually send me the details of this, Austin, but I'm not on Instagram. I'm not even sure I've got an Instagram account. So
Gotta get on that.
I think I was just meant to pass it on, but I haven't looked at it myself. But just tell us a bit about that and how it's working.
This is a bit aimed at the international community. Seeing as Expo Milano, not everyone can be here now, and we want to kind of celebrate the idea of Expo, and that is the things that wow you in life every day, the innovations, the things that drive us forward, people, places, things. And so we want to share and kind of create a community in that everyone gets to see those photos, those moments, those bits of life moving forward, I guess. So we're really hoping that people write in with Wonderful Expo 2015 and share, vote, comment, the whole lot.
Excellent. And is there something by return? Is there a prize or something, or is it just
every week we do post. Every week we post one of the best photos on our social media websites. Okay. And going forward, this could be used in obviously different things with collaborations with Expo, and so photos would be visible.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to get his name horribly wrong. Paul Uverossi, many thanks, has just written in and said, Paul says, not a question, just wanted to confirm the Leonardo exhibition dates, which we were stumbling over. Apparently it's April the 15th to July the 19th. So, Paul,
good, someone knows. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, the other thing I wasn't really sure about was, and again, it's slightly out of your territory, but you probably do know the answer to this one. I'm guessing there will be some kind of press center at on the Expo site.
The answer I'm not sure of, but from my guess, I would say Absolutely.
Okay, so when you give me the details for the contacts on that side of the organisation, I'll put them up. Then maybe I can get from them some kind of idea
Exactly.
of
More information on the
yeah, because a lot of I think a lot of bloggers want to go along, but basically need to know the basic things: who they register with as press, how do they get press badges, all of that kind of
Exactly.
malarkey, and also how it's panning out. Because given that it's kind of a fixed event, 6 months. I'm guessing that the most of the press and blogger interest will be wanted to be at the beginning of the process in May. Yes, it wasn't
we
really.
want it to last.
So you want people coming all the way through into the autumn.
Certainly, yes, obviously, yes, 100%.
Are you going to have a media day?
A media day at this point, I'm not aware of anything, but maybe we'll get that going.
Yeah.
Okay, well we can find out some more about that. Okay, guys, I think we're pretty much there. No more questions coming in. Austin, do you know the ticket prices roughly? And I mean, how do people do it? Because you can come independently. You can buy your own flights and find a hotel and all that kind of stuff. But where do you go for tickets, and how does that work?
For the tickets to the expo itself, you can find them on their website, their app, or once you're here at the expo gate. And they will cost, kind of depends. It depends if you want to go for just 1 day or 2 days. And there's also the option to fix a date before you arrive, so that you already know when it will be. Or you can buy 2 tickets and say, I'll decide later and confirm those dates at the time. And so the tickets depend. I believe they're 32 euros to 57 euros. Depending on 1 or 2 days and fixed or not.
Okay. And there are also, I think, on the Expo's site at least, and it may be on yours as well, there is a list of, as it were, Expo partners. In other words, agencies, Alitalia, for example, who are selling whole packages and tickets to Expo as well. So it may be that's the kind of easiest way to do it. Roger. Any last thoughts or questions?
Well, I was struck at how reasonable the prices were when I looked at the list. I mean, I thought maybe around 20 quid for a day at an exhibition like that was very reasonable. And I think, especially for people who are going independently, that would be quite a draw. As I said, there are some lovely cities around Milan. Besides Milan itself, you could make quite a decent holiday on it. I guess. Austin, you will be promoting that. I suppose you're promoting quite hard because it's very good for the region. Very good for the region. And it's after all, the rice bowl of Europe, isn't it, Milan?
Yes, Vercelli, the whole area.
Yeah.
The site is open every day from 10 to 11. There is they have put a cap on the number of people that can go in each day, but I think they're expecting to reach that cap at any point. And I imagine if you bought a fixed day ticket, then you would be entitled to go in anyway. But that idea of spending 2 days as opposed to 1 is borne out by this statistic. The organisers estimate that in a typical 7-hour visit, you'll only get to see around 15% of the site. So that gives you an idea of the scale. You might want to buy more than you might want a week-long ticket or something like that. So. All right. Hold on. Michael Howarth is asking. Let me just pick that up so it puts a timestamp on it in the video. There we go. Michael Howarth is asking, how long do you think that one should allow to see the whole of Expo? Well, I think I sort of just kind of covered that, Michael. What do you reckon, Austin?
Not being directly for Expo, I can't say myself, but from what you said, I'd go for the 2 days, maybe non-fixed, so that when you are here, it's a bit more flexible. You can decide maybe it's raining, I want to go do this right now. Next day, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So I would say always
that makes a lot of
err on
sense.
that side. Give yourself some more time. Try and see the events when you're here first, and then go do it, if that's your priority again.
Okay. Cool. Hope that answers that. Right. In that case, I think we're done. So thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you, Roger, for popping in and saying hi. And I must say, Austin, I asked Roger to come because he has been to Milan, but also because I was thinking if your meeting overruns, I'm going to be left there talking about it by myself. So he was my fallback on that. So thank you, Roger, for being my fallback. And good to see you, Austin. And I hope it all goes brilliantly well when it all kicks off on the 1st of May. So,
yes, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure. Next week, same time, same place. The theme will be, it's actually going to be National Ferries Week. And I'm going to have a bunch of ferry operators in the Hangout. So it'll be your chance to ask about what they're doing, what's new, and really fundamental questions. Those basic questions that everybody doesn't think to ask until they actually start putting things in the car to go across the channel or wherever it might be, like, do I need to leave my dog in the car throughout the voyage? So if you've got any sort of basic questions like that, then do pop in, and I'll have a whole bunch of experts ready and waiting to answer them. For now, bye for now.